The word of the day was longer than the hallway light that flickered above the stairs.
Paraskevidekatriaphobia,
Lila announced, tossing her backpack onto the entry bench like she'd just won a spelling bee and the world was her stage. Her mother, Maura Bennett, had just stepped in behind her, heels clicking softly against the hardwood. Early 40s, composed but beautifully tired, she carried the faint scent of office coffee and ambition. She slipped off her blazer and gave her daughter a look in the mirror by the door.
"Bless you,"
Maura replied dryly. Lila rolled her eyes.
it's the fear of Friday the 13th.
Maura paused. Of course. She glanced instinctively at the calendar pinned beside the fridge. Friday, the 13th.
"That explains the energy in the office."
Maura said, setting her purse down.
"Half the staff refused to schedule meetings today. You'd think we were predicting the apocalypse."
It's statistically considered an unlucky day.
Lila continued, following her mother into the kitchen.
Airlines sometimes skip row 13, buildings skip floor 13, people avoid travel, Paraskevidekatriaphobia, say it.
Maura opened the refrigerator and grabbed sparkling water.
"Paraskevidekatria."
She exhaled.
"No, absolutely not."
Lila laughed. 16, sharp-eyed, perceptive beyond her years. She leaned against the counter.
It's a real thing. People genuinely panic.
Maura took a sip, studying her daughter's face, the way she was growing into her cheekbones, the way independence sat on her shoulders like it was already measured and tailored.
"Well,"
Maura said lightly.
"we don't panic in this house."
Lila shrugged.
You might tonight.
Maura arched a brow.
"Excuse me?"
It's Friday the 13th.
Lila said, lowering her voice theatrically.
And you have a date.
The word hung between them. A date. It had been 2 years since the divorce, 2 years of navigating new normals, 2 years of Lila pretending not to care and Maura pretending not to notice.
"It's dinner."
Maura corrected gently.
"At Bellinate, public place, good lighting, wine."
Exactly.
Lila said.
The setup for something dramatic.
Maura laughed despite herself.
"You've been watching too many crime documentaries."
Statistically, first dates are unpredictable.
"Life is unpredictable."
Maura countered.
"That doesn't make it cursed."
She checked her phone. 18% battery. A text blinked on the screen. Unknown number. Maura frowned, opened it.
"Hey, new number. Save this. Daniel."
She exhaled softly.
"Your father has a new number."
She said casually.
"I just sent it to you. Can you save it?"
Lila didn't look up from her own phone.
Why?
"So you have it."
I don't call him.
Maura set her phone on the counter.
"He calls you.
Rarely.
That doesn't mean you shouldn't have it."
Lila's jaw tightened.
He moved 40 minutes away.
"For work."
He could have moved 20.
Maura paused. This ground was always fragile.
"Just save the number."
She said quietly. Lila sighed dramatically and said,
Fine.
dismissively. Maura noticed. She didn't comment. Instead, she walked toward the stairs.
"I'm going to shower. Don't order anything weird for dinner."
I won't.
Lila said.
"And lock the doors."
It's Friday the 13th.
Lila called after her.
Obviously, I'll lock the doors.
By 7:30, the house had shifted into evening mode. The sky outside their suburban windows darkened into deep indigo. The trees swayed faintly in the cool wind. The air felt charged, heavy in a way that couldn't quite be named. Maura stood in her bedroom in a silk navy dress that skimmed her figure in a way that reminded her she was still allowed to be seen. She applied mascara carefully, then paused as music played softly from her phone perched on the dresser. 14%. She frowned.
"Of course."
She murmured. She walked downstairs, phone in hand.
"Do we have a portable charger that actually works?"
She called.
Nope.
Lila replied from the couch.
We live dangerously.
Mara plugged her phone into the wall by the kitchen island but didn't stop the music.
Is he picking you up?
Lila asked.
No,
Mara said.
we're meeting there.
So he doesn't know where we live.
No.
Good.
Mara turned.
Lila.
What?
She said defensively.
You don't know him.
That's why we're meeting in public.
Lila stood and walked toward the front window, peeking through the curtain. The street looked normal, still, but something about the darkness felt thicker.
You're really not even a little nervous?
Lila asked. Mara smiled softly.
Being nervous isn't the same thing as being cursed.
Before Lila could respond, there was a sound, a faint scrape. Both of them froze. It came again, like a shoe against concrete. Mara moved toward the front door slowly.
Probably a raccoon.
She said, though her voice wasn't as steady as she intended. Lila stood close behind her. They didn't turn on the porch light. They just listened. Another scrape. Closer. Then, a shadow passed across the frosted glass beside the door. Lila's breath caught.
Mom.
Mara felt her pulse in her throat. She flipped the porch light on. Nothing, just empty driveway, the wind rustling leaves. They stood there, suspended.
See?
Mara whispered.
Nothing.
But Lila wasn't convinced.
Did you give him the address?
She asked.
Who?
Your date.
No.
Mara said firmly.
We're meeting there.
Silence returned. They waited another minute before Mara forced herself to step back.
It's fine.
She said, though she locked the deadbolt again just in case. At 8:15, Mara's phone vibrated. 3%. She picked it up. Unknown number. It rang. She frowned.
Probably your father.
She said.
Answer it.
Lila said. Mara tapped accept. Silence.
Hello?
Static. Then the line disconnected. She stared at the screen. 1%. Before she could react, the phone went black. Dead.
Great.
She muttered.
Perfect timing.
She carried it to the charger near the kitchen outlet and plugged it in.
It'll boot up in a minute.
She said. Lila crossed her arms.
That's not comforting.
Lila.
But before she could finish, bang! Both of them screamed, echoing each other's fears. The sound came from the back of the house, a hard, violent thud against the sliding glass door. They stared at each other, frozen. Another bang, this time accompanied by the rattling of the handle. Someone was trying to open it.
Mom.
Lila whispered, backing away. Mara's heart pounded violently. She grabbed Lila's hand and pulled her toward the hallway.
Upstairs.
She whispered.
But
Get your phone.
Lila reached into the pocket of her jeans, her face drained of color.
it's not here.
What?
I had it earlier.
Another violent shake of the door. Glass rattled. Mara's breathing turned shallow.
Where is it?
I don't know.
Go find it.
I'm not going up there by myself.
Bang. The door frame shuddered. Mara grabbed a heavy candlestick from the console table. Her mind raced. Friday the 13th. Stop. This isn't superstition. This is real,
Okay.
she whispered urgently.
We go upstairs. Lock the bedroom. I'll scream from the window if I have to.
They moved quickly up the stairs. Halfway up, the banging stopped. The silence was worse. They waited. Nothing. Mara's heart hammered in her ears.
Maybe they left.
Lila whispered. But before relief could settle, the front door handle jiggled violently. Metal scraping metal. Whoever it was had circled the house. Tears filled Lila's eyes.
Mom, call the police.
My phone is dead.
Why is it dead?
Where is yours?
Mara demanded, panic slipping through her composure. Lila's breathing quickened.
I don't know.
The handle stopped. Silence again. Then, a knock. Firm, measured, not frantic, not violent, just 3 deliberate raps. Mara's breath hitched, then a voice.
Mara?
Everything stopped.
Lila? Anybody?
Lila blinked.
Dad?
Mara felt her knees nearly give out. Daniel's voice came again, slightly muffled through the door.
I came by earlier. No one answered. I went to pick up something to eat. I've been calling.
Lila stared at her mother. Mara rushed downstairs cautiously and called out through the door.
Daniel?
Yes.
She cracked the door open slowly. There he stood, windblown, holding a takeout bag. Concern etched across his face.
What are you doing here?
Mara demanded, adrenaline still sharp in her veins.
I texted you.
He said.
I got a new number. I figured Lila would be home alone tonight. I wanted to check in.
She is not home alone.
Mara said tightly.
I didn't know that. You didn't answer.
My phone died.
I called 6 times.
Mara's stomach dropped. Behind her, Lila descended the stairs slowly.
You scared us.
She said. Daniel's face softened immediately.
I knocked earlier. No one came. I thought maybe you didn't hear. So I went to get dinner and came back.
The banging?
Mara asked.
I tried the back door first. I didn't think it would be locked.
Lila's heart was still racing.
I thought someone was trying to break in.
She whispered. Daniel looked horrified.
Lila, I didn't mean to scare you.
I know.
She said quickly, and she meant it. Silence lingered. Then Mara exhaled. All that fear, all that imagined danger, all that superstition wrapping itself around a perfectly explainable situation. Fear of Friday the 13th, fear feeding narrative, narrative feeding panic. Daniel held up the takeout bag.
I brought your favorite noodles.
Lila blinked.
You did?
Yeah. I thought maybe we could eat together so you're not alone tonight.
Something in her chest shifted.
You could have texted me.
She said quietly.
I did.
He replied gently.
New number.
She swallowed. She then remembered a message that had come across her phone earlier. I'm coming over tonight, it said. She had ignored it, assuming it was one of the many scam messages she received.
I didn't save your number.
He nodded slowly.
That's fair.
He said. The tension in the room softened. Mara leaned against the wall, exhaustion settling in.
I'm sorry,
She said finally.
we thought.
I know.
Daniel said.
It's dark, and it's Friday the 13th.
They all almost laughed. Almost. Lila stepped forward and took the food bag from him.
You can come in.
She said. He did. They sat at the kitchen island together for 20 minutes, awkward but warmer than before. Mara's phone finally flickered back to life on the charger. 8:42 p.m. She glanced at it. Her date had texted twice. Still on for 9? Everything okay? She looked at Daniel, at Lila, at the fear that had nearly unraveled them, then at her reflection in the dark kitchen window. Strength wasn't superstition. Strength wasn't pretending fear didn't exist. Strength was choosing clarity over panic, communication over assumption, presence over projection. She stood.
I should go.
She said. Lila looked up.
You're still going?
Mara smiled gently.
Yes,
Even after all that?
especially after all that.
Lila studied her mother carefully.
You're not scared?
Mara walked over and cupped her daughter's face.
Baby,
She said softly.
we don't build our lives around fear. Fear of dates, of days, of numbers.
She glanced at Daniel.
And not fear of each other.
Daniel nodded slightly. Mara grabbed her purse.
And next time,
she added, looking at both of them.
we communicate clearly. We answer calls. We save numbers properly.
Lila gave a sheepish half-smile.
Okay.
Mara headed toward the door. She paused, hand on the handle.
Paraskevidekatriaphobia
She said carefully, pronouncing it almost perfectly this time.
is just a word.
She turned back to her daughter.
But fear only has power when we hand it the story.
Lila absorbed that. Daniel watched quietly. Mara opened the door. The night air was cool, still, ordinary. She stepped out not as a woman avoiding bad luck, but as a woman who refused to let fear author her life. Behind her, inside the softly lit kitchen, a father and daughter sat closer than they had in months. Sometimes the scariest nights weren't about strangers in the dark. Sometimes they were about the distance we let grow between the people we love. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is turn the porch light on, answer the call, and step forward anyway.